What I'm going to say is not much. What I'm going to say, I will be very brief. But you see, as the Honorable Attorney General and the Chief Law Officer of the nation, there are certain issues I need to respond to. One, I want to thank you for appreciating that third arm of government, the judiciary. Let all and sundry recognize and appreciate that the government stands on a tripod: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And when it comes to justice delivery, the judiciary, the justice system, rule of law, I want to submit that we are all stakeholders, everybody. The chairman, when he was welcoming us or giving his opening remark, said conflicting decisions, even up till now. I agree that there have been conflicting decisions, but not up till now. There are no conflicting decisions as at today. Number two, the Nigerian Bar Association, yes. I want to advise, I don't know why the Nigerian Bar Association is not here. Could it be that they were not invited? Or invited, they were not aware. They are not here. Nigerian Bar Association has been responding to the happenings in the society. The pace at which the disciplinary procedure goes may be slow, but I assure you that it is sure. I am not holding forth for them, but I happen to know that they have been taking steps to respond swiftly to the happenings in the society. That said, let me appreciate the fourth members of the fourth estate of the rank. Without you, many things would have been swept under the carpet. Let me acknowledge publicly that my decision to embark on that public interest litigation to fight for the autonomy of the local government was actually brought about by my interaction with you. You saw it all. The situation had really gotten to a point that when you visited the local government secretariat, most of them have been overgrown by weed, bushes, and all that, to the extent that if you are a Muslim, you'll be reciting what you call Ayat al-Kursi. It's a protective, chapter there. If you are a Christian, it is Psalm. Is it?
The Lord is my shepherd.
Yes, the Lord is my shepherd. Things cannot continue this way. The situation was also such that even when the secretariat needed to buy stationaries, you had to notify the governor in advance that you want to spend your money. And we have listened to such funny arguments before and after the judgment, to the effect that, they are not matured enough. I said, how better are you? Are you any better? Leave them. And we have been drawing these into the ears of the people, the local government officials. And look, the governors have immunity. You don't have. So it is very easy for you to get yourself to Kuje, another prison spread across Nigeria. So you can see all these things. So when I say that I am indeed gratified to be here, you now appreciate where we are coming from. Judicial correspondents play an important role in the reporting of judicial activities and ongoing order. These dissemination of information carries with it patriotic responsibility of concise reportage, devoid of sentiment, noting that a strong judiciary and free press are crucial to the continued sustenance of our democracy. The laborious work you do in reporting the daily activities in the judiciary, especially court proceedings, and breaking the news on landmark and important judgments, have kept the Nigerian public fully abreast of the activities of our courts at all levels. Let me say a word or two before dealing with these local government issues. I want to appeal to my friends, and I know that you don't participate in unnecessary sensationalism. Social media reports ought to be verified. I know you will not go to print. You will not go to any television house or report anything that you cannot affirm. Please let us always check and cross-check our facts. Because some people, especially in the rural areas, they don't come to the city. It is what comes from the press that they rely upon. If it turns out to be true, to be false, or on something that you cannot prove, then you would have eroded the confidence they have in you. I am pleased to say that this association has lived up to its responsibility in reporting judiciary activities and important cases being adjudicated upon, especially the wide coverage and report to the given to the recent case of the local government, usually referred to as local government autonomy, where I submitted several questions before the Supreme Court on whether, among other similar questions, the dissolution of democratically elected local government councils by the 36 states of Nigeria, or any one of them, using the state powers derivable from the laws enacted by the State House of Assembly, however called, or executive order or actions, however called or described, is not unlawful, unconstitutional, null and void, and whether the amount distributed to and standing to the credit of the local government councils in the Federation account can be paid by the Federation to only democratically elected local government councils and no other body or institution. All of which the Supreme Court most magnanimously answered in favor of the Nigerian public. I say in favor of the Nigerian public because they said they couldn't close their eyes to what was happening in the society. The far-reaching pronouncement goes thus, quote, some states have, by their various illegal actions, starved local government councils in their states to the extent that most of them cannot exercise their constitutional powers and or perform their statutory functions. This is one tier of government inhumanity to another tier of government, unquote. You see, this quotation is a pronouncement, is poignant with meanings. Before I go any further, let me say that even before the pronouncement, there were pressures were coming from left, right, and center. But I give kudos to the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who, in spite of the pressure, was able to stand up and say that is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and that the 774 local governments are also people to be protected, and he did so. The local government areas in Nigeria, unlike branches of incorporated bodies or entities, are constitutionally the third tier of government of the Federation, having their political and financial independence duly guaranteed by the Constitution. I've quoted the section. And Section 1, Subsection 2 of the Constitution earlier provides a quote, "The Federal Republic of Nigeria shall not be governed, nor shall any person or group of persons take control of the government of the Federal of Nigeria or any part thereof, except in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution." And that was what motivated me in asking the Supreme Court to say that it is treason on the part of the governors to try and take over other than the way the Constitution has prescribed. They didn't like it, but it is for the general populace. The other one, which is very important, is that, and that is the aspect that I know is most critical. If you look at the impeachment provision of the Constitution, it's a bit nebulous. Say you can remove a governor who has committed gross misconduct, but didn't define gross misconduct. It's a bit nebulous. I wanted something that will come in there, and we were able to secure that. That if you tamper with the local government money structure or anything, you have committed a great gross misconduct. There is an affirmation to that effect. And I think that is what would make them look at the judgment more closely, more seriously, and do what the law says should be done. The consequence upon the deprivation of local government councils across Nigeria of their full financial autonomy, the citizens of Nigeria at the grassroots became stranded and bereft of the enjoyment of the full benefits of the governance at the local government level, as only trickles of the rewards of governance were ever reach them, if at all, as opposed to getting their fills from the abundance that was constitutionally allocated to them in the first place. Undoubtedly, this has led to a severe collapse of infrastructural and social development of the local government councils across Nigeria. Then the implementation. Against these moribund backgrounds, among several others, we have decided to take bold initiatives to institute the suit at the Supreme Court. I recall that when it was first announced, or you were kind enough to let the public know, even the press didn't get to know of this initially until we have been able to secure a date. And some people called me because immediately I traveled, I was not in town, and they said, some of them called to say they learned that so thing happened. I said, yes. Sir, shouldn't we have talked? I said, well, we can talk and continue to come, but when we come back from court, we'll also talk. So the aftermath of the Supreme Court judgment on the local government autonomy is the continued assurance of the inviolability of the existence of the third tier of government, that is the local government. The law is well settled that the enforcement of a valid judgment of a court of law must address exactly what the judgment being enforced decided. The exact terms of the judgment cannot be varied and must be enforced in exactly the same tenor as was determined. Accordingly, an issue which has been decided upon by the Supreme Court is final and conclusive, and is not subject to any further test of validity. let me say this, that immediately after that, in fact, immediately after the filing of the judgment of Supreme Court, about 9 states announced their dates for the conduct of local government elections. Argument has been, made that, they are still in control of the conduct of election at the local government. So it will be very easy for them to manipulate the system. I agree. But it's one step to another. We have tried and will continue to try to allow the various state independent electoral commissions to be allowed to the independence granted to each one of the local each one of the bodies. But we are not resting on our oars. If we don't have any meaningful response, we may also invite the Supreme Court to help us take a look at the Constitution and see whether they should be allowed to continue to conduct local government elections in the form that we have presently. It does not give anybody any joy to drag any of the subnationals to court, whether the High Court, Court of Appeal, or Supreme Court. But you must also take cognizance of the fact that the Constitution is there to attend to any concern expressed by anybody or claim of right. So, our expectation is that the subnationals will allow the law to take its course. I am aware that some states have embarked on legislations, promulgation of legislations which appear to be antithetical to the tenets or tenor of the judgment of Supreme Court. My simple comment is that the states concerned are advised not to tread within the precincts of contempt of court, and that my colleagues, the subnationals, should not also invite what I will call the attention of the legal practitioners disciplinary committee for misconduct. It is expected that having become divorced from the financial dependency on the state governments, more Nigerians will begin to get involved in the grassroots politics so as to ensure effective governance from the ground up. I'm used to nature, and it should be bottom up and not top to bottom. In line with the mandate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, DCFR, the dividends of democracy must be felt and enjoyed at every nook and cranny of Nigeria, most especially at the grassroots. Local government councils must wake up to their primary responsibilities by ensuring that farms are once again cultivated. Primary education begin to demand accountability and good governance from every tier of government, and not just the federal government, is now. Good governance is a collaborative effort as constitutionally mandated or guaranteed of every tier of government in Nigeria in Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, under the fundamental objective and directive principles of state policy. In conclusion, let me say that the judgment of Supreme Court granting financial autonomy to the local government is local government's emancipation. Freedom is like they have now gotten their independence. I appeal to the elected chairmen who have now been saddled with the responsibility of governing them to do so with honor. I have heard argument in some quarters, the responsibilities that will give to them, or the huge debt portfolio which some state governors are carrying will be shared amongst the local government. Let me seize this opportunity to say that if you incur any debt, it must be in relation to the functions given to the local government by the Constitution. If you erect an airport in a local government and you think that they will be or may be called upon to come and partake in the venture, you are getting it wrong, because that is not their primary duty, or it's not part of their functions. The functions are well spelled out under the Constitution. If you want to expand it, it cannot be by the state law, it has to be by the Constitution itself. Our people at the grassroots have suffered long negligence, and it is enough. The government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR is here to right the wrongs of the past and put the country on a high pedestal among community of nations. This is why any attempt to sabotage the effort will be confronted headlong and given deserved treatment. The local government chairmen and councillors should not forget the governor's half immunity, while they don't, that is, local government officials don't. So they have to choose between dealing with the funds of the local governments as they like and risking going to jail. The choice is absolutely theirs. If they want to tamper with the funds and end up in jail, it is their choice. Or if they want to write their names in letters of gold, activities like construction or upgrading of roads, schools, hospitals, etc. must return to local government. Life must come back to local government. They don't all have to come to Abuja. We don't have to, all of us. So the choice has been given to them. Enabling environment has been created, courtesy of Supreme Court, via the Office of the Attorney General in collaboration with you members of the press. I want to thank you for listening.